Hey, it's Pete, GCI Turf, Greensboro, North Carolina. Now that your seeding is done, what do you do next? Well, we get two questions more than any other questions. One is watering, and the other is when can I mow? Well, to start watering, if you have irrigation, you need to water enough to keep the seed moist. We want to keep the ground moist. We don't want to let it dry out. And you're going to be more familiar with areas that stay wet in your yard and areas that don't. So that could be anywhere from one time a day in the shade. It could be 2 or 3 times a day in the sun. So that's going to kind of be up to you how much to water. It could vary from 4 minutes a zone to 20 minutes a zone. The key is to keep the seed moist. The second thing is with watering is if we get good rainfall, you want to cut your irrigation off. You don't want to overwater it and get the ground too wet, because that can be just as bad as too dry. If your yard's not irrigated like mine, then it's time to get that water hose out and start dragging it around. I seeded my yard September the 24th, and it's October 17th today. So it's been about, was that 4 weeks? I have been watering relentlessly. Now, I'm a busy guy. I know that a lot of folks say they're too busy to water. Well, I'm super busy, and during seeding season, we work from sun up to sundown, 12, 14 hours a day, every day, except for Sundays. And the way I water is when I get home in the evenings. It's dark. The first thing I do when I get home is set my sprinkler up and get it going. So it's possible to water even with a busy lifestyle. Any available minute that I have and I'm at my house, I'm watering my seed. So the second question is mowing. Once you get that grass up and you want good germination over the entire yard, you want the yard nice and thick and full, coming in good. You can see some of these areas right here. That's where some new growth is coming in. You can see all these little baby grass plants coming in here. So that's what we're looking for, is a good full yard before you mow. The number one mistake folks make with mowing is they mow it too soon. We want the yard nice and bushy and shaggy. If you're a maintenance customer of ours and we do your mowing, this is going to be anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, depending on whether you have irrigation or not. If you keep the ground wet, if the temperature stays good, you could mow as soon as 2 weeks. If not, it could be upwards of a month, 5 weeks. Like I said, it's been 4 weeks since I mowed this one, or since I seeded this one. And you can see the grass here. You can see the difference in the height. I mowed this yesterday and I left this so you can see just how deep and how shaggy it is. So I hope this helps. Be patient. This is, a lot of folks think, okay, we're seeded 2 weeks, my yard's perfect again. Well, it doesn't really work that way. Realistically, it's anywhere from a 3 to a 8 week process. This grass has to go through a stage where it develops and matures and hardens off, and the grass blades thicken up and widen up, and then you'll begin to see your thick yard come back. So I hope this helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to call us. Thanks. Now, once you've mowed for the first time, the watering is not over. You need to keep the ground moist, even after especially non-irrigated yards. Now, if it's raining, that's great. That's wonderful. We need the rain. If it's not raining, you have to keep at it. I will be watering for approximately about a month after, on into November. I'll keep watering because I want to keep this ground moist. I want to keep the root system moist. If your yard is irrigated after the first mowing, you want to revert to your 1 inch per week watering. We're going to do a totally separate video, teach you how to measure your water and to make sure that you're really getting a true 1 inch per week. So I hope this helps, and have at it with that water and enjoy that yard. Hey there, Pete, GCI Turf in Greensboro, North Carolina. It's October 16th, 2016, and recently your yard has been aerated, seeded, and fertilized by us. And in this video, I want to tell you what to do after we do that. So the first thing is water. The trick to seed germination is keeping the grass seed wet, or moist is a better word. We don't want it overly wet, we want it moist. That creates an environment where it can germinate easier. I have to water mine the old-fashioned way, and I like this 0G brand. You can see it's nice and flexible. It doesn't kink up like the old green garden hoses. I pick it up at Lowe's. I think it's about 40 bucks for 50 feet. I have 150 feet is what it takes to do my entire yard. My sprinkler of choice is this Orbit right here. It basically sits in the ground like that. I like this because I can adjust the pattern with these little dials down at the bottom, and it'll go, it'll go up to 360 degrees down to, it'll literally go down and keep the stream almost in one spot if you adjust it correctly. The other feature I like about this is these tabs where I can fan the water out more if I need to, or throw more of a stream. So I seeded my yard September the 24th. It's October 16th now. We've had one really good rainfall on it, which was from the hurricane. So we got about 4 or 5 inches of rain. Luckily, my yard is completely flat, so there was little to no washing. If your yard is on a slope and we got that kind of rain, chances are you had some washing, and we'll have to retouch up those spots. Even with a flat yard, you can see my edging washed. A lot of it did. So I had to go back and redo the edges. I'm still waiting for those to come in. But overall, it's been about 4 weeks. Typically, most folks enjoy mowing and they get in a rush this time of the year. The lack of patience kicks in. You need to let your yard go as long as possible before you mow it the first time after we seed it. You need to get good uniform germination over the entire yard. Let me show you what I mean. This was a bare spot here. You can see all this little tiny baby grass coming in. And it's like this over the entire yard. Here's another spot right here, and you can see it starting to fill in. 6 or 8 little plants right there. And this grass is about, this ruler is 4 inches, 4, 5, 6 inches tall, and you can see I've got 1 or 2 blades that are over that. So anywhere from 5 to 7 inches is how tall this grass is for the most part. Now I've got my mower deck set at 4 inches. You can see that in there. So the first cut after we aerate and seed, you'll want to cut as high as you can cut. Now my mower actually go up to 4.5, but I'm gonna cut it at 4. I'm gonna wait 2 weeks and then I'm gonna mow it, raise the deck all the way up. And I'll keep the deck all the way up until springtime. And we'll introduce a video about how to mow in the spring and wake the yard up from the winter and all that kind of thing. So I hope this helps. But the key element is water. We've got to water. If your yard's irrigated, of course you have an advantage to most of us, to where you get to hit the button and turn your water on. And you want to be anywhere from 2 to 4 times a day for about anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes a zone. Basically, we're not trying to drown the yard. We're trying to keep the seed moist. That's all we're doing. Once you begin mowing, you want to revert back to heavy watering, meaning 1 day a week, possibly 2 if it's warmer during the fall. But 1 day a week, 45 minutes to an hour per zone, and really soak the yard 1 day a week. Make sure that's after you mow. Don't do that right before you mow, because your yard's going to be good and wet and you don't want to track it up. So people without irrigation, this is a tall order. You have to be very relentless in watering after we seed. If you have a small to medium sized yard, mine's 17,000 square feet, which I consider a medium size. Anything my size or smaller, it's more than manageable to water it. Yeah, my water bill went up, but I want my grass to come up. So you have to get out there, get dirty, get with it, set your timer on your phone. I usually run mine for about 30 minutes, move it, 30 minutes, move it, 30 minutes, move it. I do that about every other night. And I do it at nighttime because that's the only time I have to do it. I can't do it during the day because we're working. So I hope this helps. Get out there, get that grass seed wet, keep it wet, and don't mow your yard too early. As you begin to mow, the yard's going to change. It's going to begin to thicken up and grow, and it's going to encourage these new grass blades to go into their 2 and 3 leaf stage and thicken up, and we'll be right back around feeding that new turf again and getting the yard ready for next summer. Typically everything we do from around September to June, we're preparing your yard, or doing everything we can to prepare it for July and August, because those are the rough months on fescue, and we want that grass as healthy and as thriving as it can possibly be to get you through the summer. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, you can email us or call us, and we'll be glad to help you out in any way. Thank you.